I think it was Saturday night. It was a busy week last week. We went to the Ridge Volunteer Fire Department for the annual Farm Bureau banquet. It's always a great time. I mean, thank God for farmers. Thank God we got food to eat. You know, feel sorry for these people. They're getting hit with triple the price of fertilizer, extra prices for seed, and just things that they need to plant a crop, and then hopefully Mother Nature cooperates. One farmer who farms almost 1,000 acres, he farms several different pieces of property, said to me, you know, Mike, I'm just going to about have all my budget tied up in fertilizer and everything, and I just hope to God there's not a drought. So when I think of people who do that type of thing, my dad was a farmer from South Carolina before he went into the Navy. But the point was, is I remember he used to get this time of year, we get a 60-degree day, and he'd go out and smell the air, and it's time to till this soil. And that's the kind of feeling he had the other night there, sitting with some of the farmers who talked about, you know, they really want to get out there and till those fields and do that farming, and God bless them, and hopefully they'll have the weather they need to have a bumper crop so they can break even. One farmer was saying to me he needs a bumper crop just to break even, given the cost of, well, anyway, he did say wheat's good, but they don't do much wheat. But the bottom line was he said he needs this great crop just to break even so he doesn't lose money farming again. Also went out to the Friday morning for the breakfast for the town of Leonardtown. Very exciting plans they have for the town of Leonardtown. If you haven't seen them, I think they really have some great concept ideas. They've been working on some very good things that will attract people to the area. I did sit with a gentleman who's going to take the existing Bell Motor Company, which I know has been there since 1923 and has been selling cars, and he's going to turn it into 40 somewhat luxury apartments and condos. Great idea. It again turns the downtown area into a residential area where people like to walk, and we've seen that same thing happen with the old First National Bank. And anybody who's been in this county a long time remembers those, what I'll call institutions, Bell Motor Company, First National, excuse me, Bank of America. All those buildings now that were commercial are converting more to residential. And honestly, that's a good thing. Now, this afternoon, 1:30, we have another budget work session. We're working our way through these things. Today is the county part. I had a meeting yesterday with some people who were concerned about what had happened last week with different decisions that were made, and were those decisions final? And my point to them is this all comes up for appeal later in the year. We'll have our public forum at ChapterCon this year. That'll be in April, and we'll have people giving testimony, if that's the term, hopefully it will be, that they'll come forth and explain why they need more or what they think are priorities, and those will be things that this commissioner board will entertain. And then we will have 2 more sessions to talk about making any adjustments to the budget. So because we've made our decisions, or made some decisions, don't think it's the final, it's still time. Lastly, 2 groups of people have reached out to me over the past week. I had to miss last Tuesday morning's meeting. I had a doctor's appointment, so I apologize. I had to miss last Tuesday morning's meeting. And in that meeting, there was a discussion about Steerhorn Neck Road in Hollywood. I actually live down past Sodley. I drive past that road twice a day, if not more. And the idea was that we were lowering the speed limit from 50 miles per hour to 40 miles per hour. And I think the justification was that it was 40 mile an hour was the speed limit on Sodley Road, Maryland Route 245. So maybe it was a good idea to be consistent with that and make Steerhorn Neck 40 miles an hour. Well, people who live on that road, and I traveled it on Sunday just to get a feel for it, believe that that road is wide, great sight lines except for the intersection of Steerhorn Neck and Sodley Road. But for the rest of it, that reducing it from 50 to 40 is not a good idea. It's not worth the time. We've talked, I did listen to the YouTube, or watched the YouTube of the meeting, and there were concerns about enforcement. And when I talked with Sheriff Cameron, he says, well, they have almost no complaints about speeding out there, that their enforcement requests are very minimal. The people who live there kind of feel like the road's fine and why fool with it. So that's important. The other group that's reached out to me is people who live in the 7th District. And they live in the Able area, and they're affected by what we're going to call the cannabis grow houses that are being built there. I had heard bits and pieces about this. I didn't know that permit had been let. And when I went out and visited last week, I was appalled at what is being built in the critical area. Now, understand, people cannot have, let me just say this, I'll rephrase it. There are challenges getting approvals for decks, for improving your roadway down that maybe has some erosion issues, different small things like that. There's challenges getting approvals by the Critical Areas Commission. This commissioner is St. Mary's County representative to the Critical Areas Commission. I understand that many times that Critical Area Commission is overbearing. But in this case, you have a group building a 52,850 square foot industrial building in the 1,000-foot buffer. They've got permission to build a 45,000 square foot commercial industrial building in the 1,000-foot buffer. They've had permission to build a 17,000 square foot commercial industrial building, along with a 2,500 square foot administration building, 119 lot parking lot, paved parking lot, for what they claim to be 20 employees. This just does not make sense. Now, it was just brought to my attention about a week ago by people, actually Howie Guy and Gilbert Dorsey out there. I'm sorry. My point gets to be, how in the world does something like that get approved, get a permit, without no public hearing, but no input from the residents? And it just is a monstrosity that's sitting there. I've reached out to Critical Areas Commission. They say, well, you know, those rules don't apply when it's an agricultural use. And that's what it's been called. But they're investing $2 million in a fence and a berm around this structure. And that is not, in any farmer's idea, a agricultural use. It's an industrial use. But when you talk to Critical Areas, they say, hey, it's not us. Go talk to the Department of Agriculture. Talk to them yesterday. They're saying, well, you know, we need to look into it. We don't know. But this is all brand new. It's all something brought up by the legislature. So honestly, we'll get back to you, Commissioner Hewitt. But on April 12th at 6:30 in this room, we're going to have a public forum that night. And that is the ideal time for residents who are concerned about the cannabis grow houses in the 7th and the Steerhorn Neck regulation that was just passed on speed limit to come out and give us your opinions. I don't think the thing in the 7th District, I'll use the term, that cow's out of the barn. To switch that now would be a major, probably lawsuit involved. I don't know if that can be changed. But the Steerhorn Neck thing maybe can. So please, come out to our public forums. Tell us what you think. Thank you.